This
not everybody.
conference will now be recorded.
Right, and we do have a couple of phone callers. So I'm not sure if they will have that option or not to go into the chat. But I'm showing that we have 20 folks on the line right now. So, right, it's being recorded, so we'll have the opportunity to see those things. And as I said, I promised you that we would be in and out very quickly, no later than 9:30. So let me go ahead and welcome everyone who has joined us already, with the expectation that a few more will join us over the course of the morning. The ultimate purpose for this scheduled meeting is, as I think all of you are aware, that Ben Bowman has elected to make a change. He's accepted an offer that, for many reasons, this works best for him and his family. And certainly we want to thank him for, I think, while he was telling me, I didn't realize it had been 7 years, but 7 years he's been with us and done great things. And and this was a difficult decision for him, but felt like it was the right one for he and his family. So we applaud him for the great work he's done and the fact that he's giving us another month to take care of some really pressing issues that are still before us. And hopefully we'll leave in good condition and good shape. So we want to thank him for that. And we'll give Ben now the opportunity to make comments as we go into the overall view of our process going forward with Gary Christie. So Ben, you want to hopefully give it locked up?
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Technology is nice when it works. That's an ongoing challenge. I'm thankful, certainly, to all of you for your dedication to the community, and I want to express my appreciation for the opportunity to work with such a great group of folks. I'm still reminded of my first introduction to the Lynchburg region probably over 20 years ago. That was back in the time of Stan Goldsmith. Some of you all probably remember the fine gentleman. And, having worked throughout the southwestern part of the state, central and southwestern part, I'm often reminded how folks really kind of look to the Lynchburg region as a hub for collaboration and cooperation. And I would say that I certainly found that during my time here. There's no person, there's no region that's perfect. We all have work that we can certainly focus on to make things better. But I do want to thank each of you for the opportunity to serve with you and work within the region. And we've made some progress, and I think it's fair to say anytime you're working with the large number of organizations that we are and trying to instill systems change, as we were making the transition from WIA to WIOA. There's been a few challenges along the way, but I think we've got a good group of folks, and most importantly, got you all who are very committed to making things better. So I just wanted to say thanks a lot, and I guess certainly my discussion with Gary was I appreciate the opportunity to make a few opening comments, but I'm happy to shut down my screen and let you all move forward with the discussions that need to be done.
All right. Well, thank you, Ben, and certainly again we do appreciate the fact that you are so willing to stick around. You're sticking around with us until I think the date is March 5th. Is your last day? So.
That's correct.
And so look forward to continuing to work with you through that time. So with that, we'll turn it over to Gary to take us through an overview of our steps to fill this gaping hole.
Thank you, Nat, and thank you, Ben. One of the most important things that a board has to do is to select their leader, their director. And because it is a board, it is appropriate to go through today a general discussion of the characteristics and the qualifications that we're looking for, and make sure everybody's understanding the process that we have in front of us. So what I have to talk about today are survey results from a survey that went out last week. The the current job description and an information flyer, which was sent out to you on Friday, a recruitment schedule, and get any places to post a job announcement that folks have in mind or can think of that we haven't thought of, as well as the selection of a search committee so that we can move forward with a small group to bring back 1 or 2 candidates to the full board for consideration. Anybody else got anything? Anybody have anything else that they want to get accomplished today before we jump right in? And this will have to be interactive. So because we're not all in the same room, you're going to have to unmute yourself and speak up when you have something to say. One of the things that we started with the survey was the characteristics to meet the goals that the board has selected as part of our strategic plan. And you see on the screen here the four strategic goals of leveraging partnerships, using technology, being an organizational catalyst, and effective communications. The survey results came out. We had received 15 surveys, and you'll see that the ones that scored the highest in this particular area scored fairly evenly. Proactive leadership, passion for the board's mission, ability to communicate, ability to maintain effective working relationships, and trusted character. Really not surprising, except that the workforce experience scored less. Any questions or comments about that?
I think the workforce
Yes.
experience scoring less just means that you assume that somebody has that when they're, one of the finalists.
Yeah, good point. So I was going to say something similar, so thank you.
Yeah, all of the characteristics seem to be so important. I found it difficult to really prioritize. So that's why I didn't complete the survey.
Anybody else?
I was going to say, I understand why the WIOA experience is a little bit lower as well. That's an area that someone can study up on and become proficient in, not too terrible amount of time, but some of the other characteristics, you either have them or you don't.
Well, we did receive some comments on this survey question, and it follows right up with what you just said. It's easier to train someone who understands the mission. They are all tough to rank and all very important. Passion for the board's mission, #1 for me. All of the options can be ranked because they all are important. Director role requires a great deal of character, passion, understanding, and productive partnerships. Proven ability to reach goals, and achieve objectives. I will refer to Ben as the hub for our Spoke outreach ecosystem. We need a well-respected, experienced hub. Communication is vital. Okay, everybody good? Our second question was, what are the characteristics of a successful candidate? And there, a strong understanding of the workforce system received a high ranking, as well as a results-oriented innovator and character and integrity. The operational side of the house, experience with administration, business, finance, fundraising, scored much less than the ability to create partners and the ability to listen.
Ultimately, just as we've been talking about to many of our young people talk about social skills. I mean, that goes right along with this circumstance here. This person has to be very strong in social skills and relatability.
Any other comments? We did receive one comment there. It said integrity is incredibly important when leading any organization in today's time. Strong understanding of workforce system is important to get the job done. Our final survey question was, what are the priority tasks that the new workforce director should tackle? And enhancing partner organization's involvement and strengthening communications with the business community were right up there at the top, as well as establishing career pathways in our public schools and strengthening the board's understanding and involvement in workforce programs. Again, the administrative side of seeking additional funds and building a tracking system scored much less. Questions, comments?
I think a lot of this is pretty straightforward. And perhaps the reason why many of the comments, and even though it was 7 years ago, and I remember we got great input from everyone, and Christine was an important cog in that way back when. So, unfortunate thing that here we are again, but again, I think we do have a strong base already in regards to knowing what we need.
There were a few comments on this one. A completion of goals should be a priority. Focus on their work. And find someone to start building bridges to connect students with businesses. Relationship building is critical on all fronts, but especially the end users of the workforce, business community. School connections are important, but schools have to do their part. Any comments or suggestions? Well, that's all I had related to the surveys. Anything else that you have? Any other comments on the survey before we move on?
So I'm always question, the platform that it was presented. Did anyone have any problems with the platform? Was it a good vehicle by which to make those comments? Anyone inhibited by that circumstance? I know, John, you said that you didn't, simply because all the things were important, but did anyone else have any issues with the platform itself?
No.
Great, thank you.
Then we'll move on to the job description, which was in your packet. If you need that sent to you again, just put it in the chat and we'll send you another copy. It was updated in 2017, and I didn't see a lot of changes to bring forward, except changing perhaps the name of the program. But the job description summary is on the screen. Manage well the programs, support the board, develop and implement plans, engage the business community, create industry sector pathway strategies, seek grants, be an advocate, create partnerships, promote technical education, promote basic work-ready skills. We good?
I think that's.
It could be a little bit more action oriented is the only comment that I would make. Just like, what is it that we're trying to move the needle on, and have this person kind of have at least a little bit written in there about what you expect them to do.
I agree with that. I think just sitting recently on the phone call with the state, I think it's going to be important that this person either has an existing strong relationship at the state level or can develop that, because as they come out with new metrics, it's going to be important that we understand how we implement those metrics so that we're showing all of the good work that we're doing.
Yeah, I wonder if in the actual job description, the general statement of the job, we couldn't provide a little more specificity about, I want to answer the question, you will be successful in this position if you do what? And there's essential functions listed, but at the end of the day, we need them to coordinate, strengthen, and build our workforce development system in a way that gets people jobs and gets companies qualified employees. Now that's oversimplified, but I think we could accomplish that if we tweak the general statement of the job on the actual job description.
So you're saying that we should add a aspect in regards to the work with the state, some sort of comment relating to that aspect of it, which is very important. I agree.
And that is almost like putting some metrics in terms of how to succeed in the position or what to accomplish in order to be deemed successful. We can do that. I think those are good suggestions.
And this is Sterling Wilder. I think it's some great ideas, a great job description. It just says that it might be already covered in here somewhere. Is it something that talks about diversity? I know it's not to say that that's not our place, but I think if you look at certain businesses, it's always you don't see a lot of diversity in certain like manufacturing or certain places. So it's a leader that's going to look outside of the box and look at the community and say, does our business community reflect our community that we exist in? So someone is thinking outside of the box and looking at the community overall and seeing how we can also reflect our position in assisting in our community in diversity.
Very good, very good, absolutely. Yeah, it's, as soon as you said that, I started looking through it, and that's not a term we have in our description. You can add that.
That's a great point, Sterling. I was thinking of that as we were going through all these comments, and I was wishing maybe I had made a comment on the survey about creative thinking. I think that's going to be very important to success.
I see you busy there writing, Gary, so I know we're taking notes there, so good.
Yes. Thank you. Those are great comments. Anything else? Anybody else? Good work. We'll have an information flyer in that packet as well for folks who may not know our region. And welcome input, comments. These are the highlights of things that we've said. It's 2 pages of general information in a outline form.
Very quickly in regards to this sort of some FYI, we are Region 7 of the workforce area regions in the state. The state just actually renamed or renumbered the regions. We had early on in 2000, 2001, 17 regions. 2 or 3 have combined, so now we have 15 regions. So there was some renumbering. We were able to stay the same. So just a FYI, just a little tidbit of information that and a quarter will get you, nothing.
I think we
Gary,
might want.
on the, oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Christine.
I was going to say, along with this information, do we want to say what our current unemployment is? And there was one other thought I had on this. Let's see, unemployment. top industry sectors. I know we have diversified economy, and then a copy of our strategic plan once it's officially adopted, if it is, or can we do a draft until then?
Well,
Good
actually, no,
suggestion.
Christine, we will be, so everyone knows, we will be meeting next Tuesday. Is it, Ben, that and actually
Yeah.
voting on that strategic plan? So after that, it will be available. I guess it'll take folks at the state level to actually verify that it is good, but we will have voted on it by the 23rd.
And I think we might want to revisit the number of students whom we've listed there. I think that total is probably low.
So 14,000 at LU. Were you carrying about 5,000 or 6,000, Don?
Yes, yeah.
Yep. Yeah. That number needs to be increased. Other comments about the information flyer? So there's
Okay.
lots.
All right. We have a schedule. We'll get the ad out, but it will take about a month of posting it, three to 4 weeks of having it out there for folks to apply. The search committee would review the qualified applicants and determine their list for first interviews. Whether those interviews are done in person or electronically, we'll figure that out. It's likely to be, the first round's going to be electronically. And then screen down to a second interview. Ideally, have it back to the board in May for the recommended candidate or two.
We know how far below the national average our cost of living is. That's a number that might be helpful for people if that's something you put out. I could ask that question myself from these candidates that come all over the place. Does anybody know?
Christine, you probably know this better than I do, but I want to say that I've seen it around 93 out of 100. So if 100 or $1 is the national average, we're at like 93 cents average.
That sounds about right. I could probably find the specific, but that sounds right.
Yeah, I think so. That sounds right as well to me.
Gary,
Go ahead.
Gary, we have the stats page from our Inside Lynchburg Region flip book that I could get you a link to.
Well, it's not so much for me. I'm just thinking for the candidate. If somebody's looking at it, I mean, I think they might want to. You might want to plug that link into the, the flyer or what are the recruitment materials going to be. That might be good. So thank you. That sounds good. I know when I've moved around and I've moved around a little bit, that's one of the number one things that I always look for, and it's nice if you don't have to look too hard.
Yeah, Christine, if you have that link handy, send it along and I'll insert it into the document.
So I think that I like the schedule there, and the many search teams that I've had. I like the aspect of having a smaller group do the reviews and come up with usually that first round anywhere from typically 10 to 12 folks that you want to take a real good look at, and usually in times past it was phone calls, but now I guess it could be Zoom calls just to narrow that down to 2 or 3 or 4 where you want to actually bring in for actual interviews. So that's the thought. And certainly we fully have supported, internal as well as external candidates. So we aren't limiting to anyone to make sure that all receive a good look as we go forward.
Christine, I found it on your website. The overall cost of living is $91, which is 16% lower than others in our other localities in the state.
There you go.
That's good information
Real
right
close.
there. Yeah, we're fortunate.
9% lower than the national average.
Great. Cool.
Okay. Places to post the job announcements. At the Workforce Board and the Planning District websites, the VEC website, the National Association of Workforce Development Career Centers, Indeed.com, the Virginia Association of Planning District Commissions, as well as the Virginia Municipal League and the Virginia Association of Counties. And there's social media. There's the Virginia Economic Developers Association website. Where else should we post this?
LinkedIn probably is worth posting on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was listed as one of the places right there also.
Any other comments, suggestions?
So yeah, I know that already. You know, when Ben made the announcement, made that first to his the folks in the office. Then he made it to a lot of his coworkers. So there are a lot of folks out there already aware, you know, and certainly making those in their offices and perhaps some of them aware of the opportunity. So we may get some interest from folks across the state.
Well, I think you'll get good interest in this position. What else? Any place else you think of? Send it along later if you think of one. And finally, the selection of the search committee.
I have a question. This might be included somewhere, but is a relocation package included?
To me, that's all negotiated with the board when it comes salary time. We haven't done that in the past, but then, well, maybe 2011.
Yeah, I think that we hired a gentleman from Richmond, so I think we didn't provide a great deal of money, but we did do something for him because he was moving from Richmond to Lynchburg, so there was a little bit of something I think we have for that. Something certainly to think about.
Okay.
Before Gary would think, well, yeah, absolutely. I think that, you know, while not a lot of money out there, I think it's important to help with that decision, especially if it's coming from across the state.
Any other questions? Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Gary.
I would just try to get the last of the questions and on that one and move on to the search committee concept. One thought would be to have the Workforce Board Executive Committee and Dr. Capps, and then Scott Francis let us know that he would be interested in serving as part of that survey.
So that would be my recommendation, that we use the executive committee as the base for the search committee. That would be Christine, myself, Sierra, and Dr. Johnson. Those are and Chris and Cheryl. So I think that's the executive committee, and then to add with that, Dr. Capps, Scott Francis, and Tracy. Maybe again, I think that she has tentatively volunteered, but she's going to clarify that in the coming days. Is that correct, Tracy?
Yeah, I mean, as long as there's some kind of economic development aspect, whether you're on the main one or there's a second, you know, type of meeting with economic developers, something like that.
Okay. So certainly want to open it up to anyone else who'd be interested in helping out. But really, I try to minimize the number of meetings and so on and so forth. So a lot of it will be the first tier will be to review all meet the minimum qualifications, and then to narrow that down to a workable number for a slightly larger search team, and then to actually have the interview. So again, I try not to make it too cumbersome and burdensome, but certainly will require a little bit of time and effort. So anyone else interested in participating in the search committee?
Sterling Wilder, I don't mind serving on it.
Okay, great. Sterling, thank you very much. Anyone else? But typically, we say, 10, 11, and 12 is the maximum kind of number that you want. But certainly we'll accommodate any number that we have on the team. But I think that's close to where we are right now with the numbers and with Sterling and potentially Tracy. So anyone else? The big part of it is communication. So we will certainly try to make sure that you're aware of everything that we're doing and give you updates on a fairly regular basis. And if we hit a go faster than we anticipate and have some results faster than the timeline, we'll certainly let you know that. Or if we hit some speed bumps, we'll let you know that as well. The timeline's good, and I thank the folks that have who volunteered and who've asked are good. And as our schedule looks like, we want to get on this pretty quickly. With your input that you've given us already today, it's good. We'll try to have a final form for the advertisement of the position. I think we're looking at next week, right, Gary?
Oh, yes, we'll get it out. We'll make these changes on the job description and a few other tweaks, and then we'll get it out as soon as we can.
Yeah. So that's, I think, Gary, that completes your presentation, correct?
Yes, sir. I've got what I needed. I appreciate everybody's time.
Yeah. So that's what we needed to talk about today. Again, we want to really thank Gary. Well, thank Gary for his presentation, but thank Ben for, one, his 7 years with us, two, the fact that he's given us a good month to try to replace him, or at least get us going in the right direction for that replacement. And then three, I want to thank you all for your willingness to start out your morning on Tuesday morning with this information and giving us the feedback both in the survey and over the discussion over the last little while. Anyone else have any comments as we close out this session?
Hey, Matt, this is Lauren. Would it be possible to get a copy of the survey results for those of us who were not able to get into the GoTo meeting?
Sure. Gary?
Yes, we'll send them out. Happy to.
Okay. Thank you.
Great. Anyone else? All right, great. So again, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Not unfortunately, but as you may have realized, that we will need to get back together again next Tuesday, right, Ben?
I'm not sure Ben's on the line anymore.
Yeah, Ben was having some connectivity problems. So, yeah, we will need to get together next Tuesday. I think it's the 23rd. That would be the right date to verify and to vote on the strategic plan so that we can submit that to the state by March 1st. So this is a necessary thing that we need to do. I apologize for pulling you together so quickly, but I do thank and appreciate you coming with us today. And hopefully you'll be available for probably almost as short of a meeting next Tuesday. I can't remember if that's 8:30 or 3 o'clock, but look out for that already.
3 o'clock. It's a 3 o'clock meeting.
Okay, great. Thank you. Any final thoughts?
Is that for the whole board? Because I don't think it's in my calendar.
It is for the full board, yes.
Okay.
And
All right, I'll check that. Thank you.
we'll make sure that Ben/Mallory gets that to you to confirm it. So that is the purpose, is to vote on the strategic plan. All right. So, we didn't finish at 9 o'clock as Gary was hoping for, but we did finish up before 9:30. So thank you all again. Appreciate it. Everyone have a wonderful day. Let's see. So, Tracy, would you say the snow, steep rain, and whatever else is coming Thursday? So I'll be careful and stay safe.
Thursday, Friday. Good luck.
Thank you, everybody. Yeah. All right, Gary, thank you very much. Gary, take care.